The playoff push continues across the league, and things are getting weird. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies, rivers and seas boiling, human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, and the Yankees and the Red Sox rooting for each other? It's mass hysteria on MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome to MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. I am one of the hosts here at MLB Game Night, JD Hafron, host of Locked On Cardinals. My man, Jon Frisch, joining us, one half of Locked On Angels, and a guy who definitely knows the answer when I say, who you going to call? What's the answer, man?
Ghostbusters, baby.
That's
JD,
right.
It's a weird night. Let's get friggin' weird in baseball. Let's go.
It is strange, but in all the right ways, because it's a lot of fun. Who's your favorite Ghostbuster, just to get this thing moving?
Oh, I got to go Bill Murray. Obviously, Bill Murray. He's the best.
All right. I'm afraid you were going to say Egon, and I was going to be like, oh, man, I want to say Egon. Anyway, coming up on today's show, can the Guardians pile more dirt onto the sinking Detroit Tigers? Does anyone want to win the third wildcard spot in the National League? Anybody? Cal Raleigh continues to make history in a big way. The Brewers tie club record against the Padres. But let's get started in the Bronx. We got the Yankees at home against the White Sox. If you remember, so many moons ago, a.k.a. Tuesday, the Yankees pulled off a huge comeback win versus the White Sox. It was a crucial win because the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays in Toronto. That allowed the Yankees to come within one game of first place as they entered play today. John, did you ever think that the Yankees would be hoping for a Red Sox win? Did that ever cross your mind?
Certainly not this season, that's for sure. But that's where we are and where things stand on September 24th/25th, JD.
Yeah, the Yankees would seek to win their game against Chicago and wish their BFFs, the Red Sox, the best of luck versus Toronto. We'll have a little more on that later. Did the Yankees get one step closer to an AL East championship? Let's send it to Brian McKean of Locked On Yankees to find out.
1 week ago, to the date, the Yankees trailed the Toronto Blue Jays in the AL East by 5.5 games. Since then, the Blue Jays have gone 1-6, and the Yankees have gone 6-1, and now they are tied for the American League East lead. A big 8-1 victory for the New York Yankees, and the American League East, as I can say it again, is tied. I'm Brian McKean from Locked On Yankees. An unbelievable start out of Max Fried, his 19th win of the season. The Yankees dominated this game all around. They're getting ready for the postseason. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball, winning games when they need to. Oh, and by the way, the American League MVP for not just 2024, but 2025 as well. Aaron Judge hits his 50th and 51st home run of the year. We'll be talking about all of it on Locked On Yankees as they try to get their way to an American League East title.
Aaron Judge did have a huge day in this victory. 2 home runs, 50 and 51st, 4 ribbies, 3 for 4 with a walk. And how about Max Fried, John? I mean, First season as a Yankee, some people crumble under pressure when they get to the bright lights of New York. 19 wins, leads all of Major League Baseball. He's got 189 strikeouts, a 2.86 ERA. He's an all-star. Good deal by the Yankees to sign him, especially not knowing that you were going to lose Garrett Cole for the entire year. So he stepped up quite nicely for the Yankees in his absence. We do have Todd from Locked On White Sox, who is disappointed to see his team on the wrong side of history once again.
Well, the White Sox were a part of history and then made some history of their own, but now the good variety. Hello, I'm Todd Welter, host of Locked On White Sox, and the White Sox lose to the Yankees 8-1. Chicago has now lost 100 games for the third straight season, and the club has never put together that long a string of 100-loss seasons until now. And it happened during the season in which the team is celebrating 125 years of existence. The other piece of history is Jonathan Cannon will be part of some random trivia question as being the pitcher who allowed Aaron Judge to hit his 50th homer of the season. And that makes it 4 straight seasons of 50 dingers for Aaron Judge, and he joins Babe Ruth, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa as the only players to hit 50 homers over 4 consecutive campaigns after he blasted a 3-run shot in the second inning. And Cannon was recently recalled yet again to show that he is still unable to pitch well enough to keep the Sox in games, as he gave up 5 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. And I'll have more on tomorrow's episode of Locked On White Sox.
All right, so let's go back to what Brian was talking about real quick, John. He did not mince words at all. Very clear here, calling Aaron Judge the American League MVP. Your thoughts on that? Is he the MVP over Cal Raleigh from the Mariners?
Here's my thing, JD, and you can call me bitter if you must about this. They gave Aaron Judge the MVP for hitting 62 home runs over Shohei Ohtani in 2022. Ohtani had literally his best pitching year that year, 2.33 ERA, a 172 ERA plus, making him 72% better than league average. And he hit 273 with an 875 OPS, 34 homers, 95 RBIs. And with Raleigh getting home runs 59 and 60, not to, spoil a little bit later, but
spoiler alert,
he's going to hit 62 this season. He's going to. And look, Judge has the edge in both Fangraphs WAR and Baseball Reference WAR, but if we're going to play the WAR game, then give Mike Trout his 2 MVPs from 2012 and 2013, where he lost to Miguel Cabrera despite having a better WAR in both of those campaigns. So, in my book, it's Cal Raleigh, man. It's got to be Cal Raleigh this season.
All right. For those of you in the chat right now, let us know who you think the AL MVP is going to be, and hit us up in the comments section down below on YouTube as well. So Red Sox at the Blue Jays. As we mentioned, the Yankees were able to tie the Blue Jays for first in the AL East, and that's because the Boston Red Sox were able to take another victory over the Jays. They take the series with a 7-1 win behind starter Garrett Crochet, who's been outstanding as well. Another good signing by an AL East team who went 8 scoreless innings, now 18-5 on the year with a 2.59 ERA. Max Scherzer took the loss and moved to 5-5. His ERA is over 5 now. There were a lot of offensive contributions from this Boston Red Sox lineup, but Gabby from Locked On Red Sox has one player in mind that might be the key to a successful Red Sox postseason.
Masataka Yoshida appears to be getting hot at the plate for the Boston Red Sox, and if he's hitting well, this team has a real chance in the postseason. I'm Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox, and the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 7-1 tonight, and a lot of that is thanks to Masataka Yoshida, who went 2 for 5 in this game with a home run to add to the Red Sox lead. And previously, prior to tonight's game, Masa Yoshida had been 7 for his previous 18 at-bats before that, and he had been struggling a lot at the plate since going on this hot streak. Now, the biggest question and test for him is going to be, can he keep this up, or is this strictly just a streak? Whether he's able to keep it up or not could make or break the Red Sox offense moving forward and be a huge difference maker in a potential playoff series as the Red Sox look to clinch a postseason berth tomorrow. Tune in to Locked On Red Sox on any podcast platform for more.
It's funny because Masataka Yoshida was the subject of a lot of trade rumors where they're like, this guy is making way too much money. He's always hurt. He doesn't play all that well. Let's get rid of him. Because I remember in the offseason, there was a lot of talk, well, if they try to trade for Nolan Arenado, that maybe they'll send Yoshida to the Cardinals. And I'm like, well, what? No, we don't want him either. Like, why would what? And now look at him. Now he could be a key part to what their success might be in the postseason. John, the game itself wasn't all that great, but it ended on a very interesting note. Tell everybody what happened and how the end of this game came about, because it makes me laugh a little bit.
Yeah, it's not something you see every day, JD. It ended on a 9-3 ground out. Alejandro Kirk, he was at the plate. He hit what would normally be a single to right field, but right fielder Wilyer Abreu, he was playing shallow, and he threw the ball on a bounce to Nathaniel Lowe at first base, and he got Kirk out at first. That's how this game ended. Would have been a base hit for maybe anybody else but Alejandro Kirk. But look, 7-1, I get it. He's looking toward the postseason. He's doing a lot of work behind the dish as the Blue Jays catcher. So give the guy a break. Come on. But yeah, just an interesting way for that game to end. A 9-3 ground out. Incredible.
When I saw the highlight, they didn't even like have the visual of the play at first because nobody's ever looking for that. They're always
nobody expected it. Yeah,
they panned to somewhere else, like second base where the ball's supposed to go. And for those who don't know, Wilyer Abreu's got one of the better arms in all of Major League Baseball. If you play MLB The Show, you know that because he's got a 99 arm from Jump Street every single season. So a little embarrassing for Alejandro Kirk, but whatever. He's going to the postseason, and that's all he's worried about right now. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go and talk about the Detroit Tigers. Who's your daddy, Detroit? The answer begins with a C and it ends in land. That's coming up on MLB Game Night. Today's show is being brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here. In fact, we're getting ready to kick off week 4. And FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if that bet wins, you're going to get 3 in bonus bets to use across the app. You get to use it in any way that you want, which is one of the reasons why FanDuel is so awesome. It's why we use it all the time. It's because you can bet however you want to bet. And if you get those $300 in bonus bets, you could use it on player props. You could go with building a same-game parlay. You could jump into the live action as it unfolds. It's entirely up to you. Whatever you're in the mood for. FanDuel is quick. It's easy. It's the best way to add a little more energy to game day. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. MLB Game Night taking you around the league. We go to the land, Cleveland, where the Guardians and the Tigers were button heads once again. John, the Cleveland Guardians have this voodoo thing working for them right now at the end of the season. They closed in on the Tigers and had the good fortune of facing them for a 3-game set that began on Tuesday, where the Guardians picked up the win and tied the Tigers for first place in the AL Central. It's mind-boggling that this has happened both on the Tiger side and the Cleveland side because Detroit's failures, the Guardians just don't lose anymore, and a win in today's game would put the Guardians in sole possession of first place. Nobody saw this coming. It was Tanner Bybee for the Guardians against Jack Flaherty for the Tigers. So which team would walk away at the top of the AL Central following today's game? Well, let's hear from Justin from Locked On Guardians to find out.
Magic number is 3, and that's what it's taken. I can't believe we're talking magic numbers with this team because it's taken magic to get to this point. Guardians, a 5-1 winner over the Detroit Tigers, taking 2 of 3 against the Tigers in Cleveland. Justin Ladder from Locked On Guardians. Another great pitch game by Tanner Bybee. Keeps the streak going of starters allowing less than 2 runs outside of 1 game in this entire streak. Had to battle through a little bit, but buckled down in the 4th and 5th inning. The Guardians able to spread it out thanks to another Jose Ramirez double with the bases loaded. Looked like they weren't going to be able to get those extra runs. They still ended up using Cade Smith in the 9th inning for a save with the tying or the run on deck, the save run on deck. But he only throws a couple of pitches. The Guardians' defense was great all night long. They are just playing good baseball every which way. Hitting with runner in scoring position, pitching, playing defense, and the Tigers have been doing the exact opposite. They're not doing any of that right now, and that's where we are. The Guardians have a chance to lower their magic number to just 1 on Thursday. Parker Messick and TBA for the Tigers. Tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So Cleveland has now won 17 of their last 19 games. They have sole possession of first in the AL Central. We've previously asked if the Tigers' collapse was the worst in Major League Baseball history as it continued to slide out for them. You've got the facts per ESPN on whether or not that's true or false.
Yeah, in 1914, the Boston Braves, they were 15 games back of the in the National League on July 4th. They rallied to win it by 10.5 games, according to Elias Sports. And since baseball went to divisional play in 1969, the biggest deficit overcome was 14 games by the 1978 New York Yankees to win the AL East. I think, JD, that puts the Guardians' run of coming back from 15.5 back to the top. I think that puts them at the top.
Which is this more a case of, in your opinion, John? Is it a Tigers collapse or a Guardians comeback? Who are you giving more credit to?
Oh my gosh. I think I got to say the Guardians coming back from losing their top 2 relievers to this gambling scandal They sold at the deadline, right? Shane Bieber is a Blue Jay now, JD, even though he could have been part of this rotation for the Guardians moving into a potential playoff spot. And they had a 10-game losing streak at one point during the season, back in the end of June into July. And how many times did we hear Justin on this show say, well, it's over? And now here they are talking about magic numbers and having first place in the AL Central. It's incredible to me.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, I know it doesn't feel good for the Detroit fans, but for the sport of baseball, for fans of baseball, this has been nutty to see, man. Let's take you, speaking of losing streaks, Mets at the Cubs. Two teams with plenty to play for at Wrigley as the Cubs try to snap their 5-game losing streak and stay ahead of the Padres, while the Mets are just trying to hang on to that third spot in the NL wild card. Chicago started veteran Matthew Boyd. New York relying on another rookie in Jonah Tong. We got Sam from Locked On Cubs with his choice for offensive standout of the game and how he fits into the playoff picture for Chicago.
All right, that's more like it. The Cubbies dominate the New York Mets and retake command of potentially hosting that wild card series against the San Diego Padres. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. Matthew Boyd was pretty good. Hopefully he can take that momentum into his next start, which will be against the Padres in the postseason. We just don't know which game yet. A lot of standout offensive performances to choose from, but I'm going to pick Moises Ballesteros, and I'm just going to say this. If Kyle Tucker can play the outfield, because if Tucker can't play the outfield, then Ballesteros has no place to play because Tucker will DH. But if Kyle Tucker can play the outfield next week against the Padres in the postseason, I think there needs to be a tough conversation to be had with Seiya Suzuki against righties that Moises Ballesteros should be in there as a DH. I just think with his approach, his bat-to-ball skills, he's kind of like a lefty Nico right now. He gives the Cubs a better chance to win right now with the way he's hitting. I don't think that's a crazy take. Really good big hit from Ian Happ. Really good day for Matt Shaw. It was a big offensive performance. Cubs look great and are in a much better spot now than they were in just 24 hours ago. But man, Moises Ballesteros, I'd like to see his bat out there. He could really hit.
It's not a crazy take, but it's crazy to think that, what we saw from the Cubs that in the first half of the season that you would ever think, yeah, let's set Suzuki down because he was on fire in the first half of the season. And now we're talking about maybe he shouldn't be playing every single day. Kind of crazy. Matt Shaw, Michael Busch each go yard in this one for Chicago. PCA scores from second base on a wild pitch, which sent the fans into a frenzy at Wrigley. He's got elite speed. He's a lot of fun to watch. The Mets managed just 3 runs on 4 hits in this game. Their top 4 in the order of Lindor, Soto, Alonso, and Marte combined to go 1 for 16. They'll wrap up the series tomorrow night at Wrigley. Another team looking to take advantage of this. Could the Reds jump in where the Mets are losing again? Pirates at the Reds. We had a premier pitching matchup in this one, too, in the Queen City. Paul Skenes going up against Hunter Greene, and it went about as well as you could imagine. Hunter Greene, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 7 Ks. Paul Skenes, 6 innings, 0 runs, 4 hits, 7 Ks. Both of them were awesome. Although Skenes left with a lead in this game, he would not factor in the decision. What else is new? Pirates always seem to blow it when he's on the mound. This game would actually end up being decided by the bullpens. We got Jeff from Locked On Reds on what went down at Great American Ballpark.
When the moment got big, the Reds got small. 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and they will officially lose 2 out of 3 to the Pirates. They've got to win tomorrow to avoid a sweep. They're still alive in the playoff race, but it's mathematically, and they keep doing this thing where hopes are alive and then they're dead. And right now, it kind of feels like they're dead. I don't know what to make of this team sometimes. You see them fight, and you see them claw, and you see them survive, only to fall in extra innings with the bases loaded. I'm at a loss, honestly, when it comes to this ball club for 2025. There's got to be a lot of changes made for 2026, regardless of if they make the postseason. But the good news is, as we record this, the Cubs are up by a lot, so that's something.
the walk-off by Jeff Carr right there. He just leaves the camera, says bye-bye.
It's a walk-off. It's a walk-off.
Some highlights from this game, because it was a very intense and exciting game. Noel Marte with an inside-the-park home run in the 8th to inject a little life into the stadium, because it was a shutout at that point, 2-0. Tyler Stevenson with the game-tying home run in the bottom of the 9th to tie it up with 1 out. 2 teams exchanged runs in the 10th, but in the 11th, you get an RBI double by Spencer Horowitz to give the Pirates the lead. And as Jeff mentioned, Reds load the bases there with 2 outs in the bottom half, but cannot push one across. The Pirates win it 4-3 in 11 innings. Skenes' final start, it was excellent. He had his girlfriend, Olivia Dunn, looking on and screaming his name from her private suite. You could hear it. He finishes his 2025 campaign with a 10-10 record, but we all know that it's not his fault that his record is that. Sparkling 1.97 ERA. It's the first sub-2 ERA of a starting pitcher since Justin Verlander did it with a 1.75 ERA back in 2022 with the Astros. He also becomes just the 4th pitcher in the live ball era since 1920 to record an ERA that low in his age 23 season or younger, joining Dwight Gooden, who did it at age 20 in 1985, Vida Blue at age 21 with a 1.82 ERA, and then it was Dean Chance. Who could forget Dean Chance? Yeah, 1964
Halo great
at age 23. So Skenes, awesome. We all know it. All right, coming up, Cal Raleigh. We got to talk about him. Huge night for him and the Mariners as they make history. That's next on MLB Game Night. Today's show is being brought to you by Rugiet. Now, guys, you've probably heard of Viagra and Cialis. Maybe you've even tried these products before, not to be ashamed of. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet. Now, this isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer. It's going to give you confidence. All right. Rugiet combines 2 doctor-trusted medications, and it puts it in one dual action formula. And the effects, you're going to love this. The effects can last up to 36 hours. That's going to give you confidence all day, all night, and if you're up for it, even into the next day. The process is very, very simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor. It's 100% online. And if you get prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your front door, back door, side door, wherever you want it to be put. But it'll come to you. Nobody will know what it is. And you'll be ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom. So head to Rugiet.com. That's Rugiet.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet.com. Again, Rugiet.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Cal Raleigh and the Mariners have been doing some special things this year. And on Wednesday night, they had the Colorado Rockies in town. We spoke about it earlier, but Seattle is extremely hyped. They got a lot of confidence going into the postseason, leading the AL West in what would be their first AL West championship since 2001 if they were to secure it tonight. And what more can you say about the season that Cal Raleigh has had? Tonight, he put an exclamation point on it by not only hitting his 59th home run, but also knocking his 60th out the park as well. Did it in the same game. We got Tydian Gonzalez with all the excitement from Seattle.
There it is. For the first time since 2001, your Seattle Mariners are American League West champions. This is Tydian Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast here. And of course, why wouldn't it be Cal Raleigh, who stars in the game that gives the Mariners their first division crown in 24 years. He becomes the 7th player in Major League Baseball history to reach the 60 home run mark to cap off an insane season. And I say cap off, but I mean, there's 4 games left. He could take this thing even further. He could push for the American League home run record at the rate that he's going. But what an incredible season this has been. What an incredible night this was for Cal Raleigh. MVP chants echoing in the ballpark, awaiting that second home run of the night, that 60th home run of the season, and he delivers. If that isn't an MVP, I don't know what is. We're going to talk about this one on the Locked On Mariners podcast right now. You're going to get another episode from us tonight. See you then. Peace.
We need to get Ty and Brian
in
a debate and let them just go back and forth. I'm all Cal Raleigh in this one just because I give him so much credit for being a catcher and doing what he's been doing. It's just much more difficult, I feel, to pull it off and then go and hit as well. And, it's why there's not a whole lot of like really good hitting catchers out there. It's the demand of that position. So, he's been awesome, man. As Ty mentioned, elite group of players with 60 home runs in a season. Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Aaron Judge. And now Kyle Raleigh joins him. The Mariners are all over the Rockies tonight, blasting them 9-2, and they win the American League West. So congratulations. On to Philadelphia, where the Marlins picked up their 7th win in a row at the expense of the Phillies on Tuesday night. After another great outing from Phillies starter Christopher Sanchez, the Phillies bullpen let the game go to extra innings, where the Marlins walked away with that win. The Phillies wanted to get their mojo back, get their W back, and they do so in a huge way on Wednesday. We got Connor from Locked On Phillies with a list of accolades that Philadelphia achieved in this dominant victory over Miami.
What an incredible night at the bank for the Philadelphia Phillies. They beat the Marlins. They secure a first-round bye, and they set multiple records. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. Let's get Jesus Luzardo out of the way because he was incredible tonight. 7 strong innings, looked awesome, 10 strikeouts, like he was dominant, and somehow was overshadowed by the Phillies hitting a franchise record 8 home runs. Kyle Schwarber hits 2 of them. He sets the all-time Major League record for single-season lefty-on-lefty home runs. He also reaches 56, only 2 back of Ryan Howard's franchise record. Edmundo Sosa comes off the injured list and has a 3 home run game. We talked on today's episode about the impact he makes every time he plays, and then add a couple more on there. What a night at the bank. What a team. What a season. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Former Cardinal legend Edmundo Sosa, by the way, with those 3 home runs.
I was waiting for it.
Let's give him his proper name. Yeah, big night for the Phillies. They win at 11-1. Moving on to the Brewers at the Padres. The Padres on the heels of the Dodgers in the NL West. Brewers trying to end the season on a high note, gain a little more momentum heading into the playoffs. Dylan Cease, we know he hasn't had a great year for San Diego. He was strong tonight. 5 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, 8 Ks. Heck of a game for Jackson Chourio, though, from Milwaukee. He pulls back a 3-run home run in the first inning and then singled to spark the go-ahead rally in the 7th to help send the Brewers to a 3-1 win. That's now 96 wins on the season for Milwaukee, which ties their franchise record for most wins in a season. They'll host the Reds for 3 beginning on Friday with a chance to break that record and clinch the number 1 overall seed in the National League. They're also looking to clinch the best record in baseball for the 2nd time in franchise history. The other time they did it, 1982, when they were 95-67 in the regular season, and this is when they were in the American League back then. They went all the way to the World Series, but they lost to the eventual champion St. Louis Cardinals. That's right. Had to get that in there because we're not in this anymore. All right, Dodgers at the Diamondbacks. Blake Snell took the ball in Arizona with the Dodgers looking to hang on to that lead in the NL West, thanking the Brewers for taking down the Padres earlier. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks riding high after their comeback win on Tuesday and are hoping to take advantage of losses by both the Mets and the Reds on Wednesday night. Snell, strong again, man. He looks good. 5 innings, 1 run, 5 hits. 5 Ks. Andy Pajes with the big swing in the 4th inning, a 2-run shot off Ryan Nelson, 26th of the year to give the Dodgers a 3-1 lead. They'd eventually go up 4-1, but the Snakes never say die.
Yeah.
Constantly coming back over and over and over. They decide they will not go gently into that good night. They score 3 runs against this Dodgers bullpen, which we've talked about, John. It's sketchy, dude.
Yeah.
It is very, very sketchy. And they end up tying that game up in the 8th inning. On to extras. There we go. Goose eggs in the 10th inning, but in the 11th, Dodgers do get a 2-out RBI single by another former Cardinal legend, Tommy Edman, to take a 5-4 lead. Dodgers would end up hanging on this time around, and they win it. Clayton Kershaw actually got into this game as a reliever and threw a shutout inning. Perhaps maybe that's the role, because we were wondering, like, is he going to make the roster? And maybe that's the role that they're going to put him in, since their bullpen has been, I mean, I hate to put it, they've been a big bag of suck. They have not been very good. So they got to find arms that can get outs. And if they have to rely on Clayton Kershaw, it appears that they're more than willing to do that. Let's talk about my Cardinals real quick. John, they were in San Francisco. They took the first 2 mathematically. They're still alive. heading into tonight's game. They had their number one in Sonny Gray on the mound, so things were lined up pretty good for them. And then the Cardinals, out of nowhere, forgot how to play defense. We're just like, we don't know what to do with this glove thing. What is this? 3 errors on the night, including an inexcusable drop in right field by Jordan Walker, who's been terrible this season. That led to a run. Then in the 8th inning, with the score tied at 3 and a runner on first, they get the ground ball. They can't turn the double play. The next hitter is Andrew Kisner, who becomes the latest former Cardinal to burn them. He rips a line drive to center field that Victor Scott makes an ill-advised diving attempt at. He wasn't even close. Goes past him all the way to the wall. RBI triple. Giants hang on to win it 4-3. Not that the Cardinals, had much of a chance to be in the postseason, but to completely just pee down your leg defensively in a must-win scenario. Incredibly disappointing for myself and other Cardinals fans around this great nation of ours. All right, let's go to Sacramento. The Mariners moving in the right direction. The Astros moving in the completely wrong direction with yet another loss to the A's in Sacktown. And not only did they lose, John, they got shut out 6-0. Luis Severino, very good. 6 1/3, no runs, 3 hits, 5 Ks. Shea Langoliers activated his Bangaliers alter ego again. He goes 4 for 4, including his 31st home run of the season. He continues to add to his new career high in that category. Probably won't catch the A's record for a catcher, which is held by Terry Steinbach, who hit 35 out of nowhere back in 1996. I'm not saying he was on anything, but it was crazy that he hit 35 because he usually hit like 11 every year and somehow got 35. Wild stuff. Even with Hunter Brown on the mound for the Astros in this one, they dropped their 5th in a row as they continue to slide out of playoff contention. If they miss the playoffs, it would be the first time since 2016. The Astros have been on a heck of a run, whether you like them or not. They wrap up the series tomorrow and then face the Angels for 3 in Anaheim to end the season. On to Atlanta, where the Nationals were visiting the Braves. Braves have been the hottest team in baseball as they've won 10 in a row coming into Wednesday's game against the Nationals. But Washington got a little power, a little POWER from James Wood, who put 2 dingers over the wall, as well as Josh Bell. Braves tried to come back late, but fell just short as they have their winning streak snapped at 10 games with a 4-3 loss to the Nationals. Twins at the Rangers. What happened in Texas, John?
Yeah, Rangers looked to even up the series after the Twins got a great start out of Zebby Matthews on Tuesday. Jacob deGrom's last start of the year didn't factor into the decision, but he pitched well. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run on a solo shot from Byron Buxton. That's Buxton's 32nd of the year. That's a career high for him because he's actually been on the field this year. A couple wild pitches in the 7th from Twins pitching gave the Rangers a 4-1 lead, and they held on to win it 4-2 in favor of Texas.
To Baltimore we go. The Rays and the Orioles. Rays teased us with a combined no-hitter in this particular one, which would have been the first no-hitter of the season. We haven't had one, which is very, very odd.
And we're running out of time. 4 games.
Yeah. Starter Shane Baz went 4 hitless innings, followed by Edwin Uceda and Garrett Clevenger for 6 hitless innings. But then Rays reliever Griffin Jackson, they got from the Minnesota Twins, gave up a hit in the 7th to Orioles leadoff hitter. Hey, another former Cardinal, Tyler O'Neill, breaking up the no-hitter. The Rays did get home runs from Brandon Bam Bam Lau. Did you know that was his nickname, by the way, John? Bam Bam?
I had no idea.
I went to Baseball Reference because I always just want to see what people's nicknames might be. There's some good ones out there. Bam Bam is his nickname. Right. So we're going to call him that from here on out. Jake Mangum also helped put the Rays up over the Orioles. Final score of this one was 6-2. Let's wrap it up with your Angels taking on the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, Yusei Kikuchi was on the mound, pitched well in his final start of the year. Unfortunately, had to leave the game due to some cramping. We got your Midwest weather out here, JD, and that's not good for anybody on the baseball field. He ended up going 5 innings, 6 Ks, 1 hit. That was just a solo homer off Randall Grichuk, almost robbed by Bryce Teodosio, Angels center fielder. Royals played some sloppy defense early on, charged with 3 errors. The Angels pitching limited the Royals to just 2 hits. Listen to this. Maikel Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvi Perez, hitless in this one. Taylor Ward knocks his 36th home run of the year. Kenley Jansen gets career save number 475 as the Angels win this one 3-2.
I can't help but notice that you brought up Randall Grichuk. Do you know what team he used to play for?
Was he a Cardinal legend and drafted in front of Mike Trout as an Angel because they wanted to make Mike Trout's manager mad?
He was former Cardinal legend Randall Grichuk. So if you were a former Cardinal, Wednesday was your night. You had a good night. So, guys, I tell you what, man, things are getting super exciting in this final week of Major League Baseball. And I hope you stay with us for all of it because we're going to have it covered for you each and every night. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you guys will come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night until a World Series winner is crowned.